I was like, I could feel that. Like, you're not allowed to go eat ramen without me, and you know that. Like, you can't.
You are. You should, P-Way over here. Oh. Hi, and welcome to Hanging Out with Violet and Rose. I'm Violet.
I'm Rose.
And today we will be talking about Pit Babe.
Spoilers are all over this. So please know that if you haven't watched Pit Babe, please pause, go watch it, come back. If you don't mind spoilers, please stay, enjoy, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of laughs as we go through Pit Babe, the series.
What she said. So to recap Pit Babe, and we're recapping because they are coming out with season 2.
May 2nd.
Which I'm very excited for.
Same.
So we're just doing a really quick, like, rehash of it, recap of it. So the main character is Babe, and he is a racer, but you find out that he has a special power because he is an alpha, because there is a strong Megaverse vibe throughout the show. And so his, what is it called? Like, his special power is that he can sense, like, things coming out, like the vibrations.
He smells more strongly.
So his senses are really heightened.
Yes.
And so he's on the race team, and he has his crew, which is Alan is like the main mechanic boss.
Guy.
Yeah. And then you have North, and then you have Sonic, which are like
YouTubers.
Yeah, they're like comedic little besties. And then you have P-Way, which is like his best friend.
Also a racer.
Yes. And you find out that he was adopted from like the evil guy Tony, which is how he met P-Way, because he was also adopted. And then we're introduced to the character Charlie, who is trying so desperately hard to be on Babe's team. And you find out he is also adopted from Tony, because everybody with special powers, Tony finds them as children and adopts them. And Charlie has a brother because he was also adopted by Tony. And his name is Jeff. And so, as we said, Babe has the heightened senses. P-Way he is an enigma, correct? Not an alpha, and he can control people if he touches them.
Yes.
Charlie is an alpha, right?
Yeah, I think so. He's not an enigma. He's an
alpha. And he can siphon
somebody else's
power. So he siphons the power. And then Jeff can see the future
if he touches somebody.
So pretty much all of theirs, you have to touch somebody, except for Babe's.
Yeah,
Babe's like he feels it. Yeah, from he smells it, feels it from a distance. So as I said, so Charlie is fighting to get on his team, and then you find out it's because he's trying to save him from Tony. Which is a whole mess.
Straight mess.
So, I am not going to lie. This series, I started it 4, maybe 5 times. I never got past 15 minutes of the first episode.
I feel like I remember us having that conversation. I was like, give it a chance. Give it a shot.
It did not hook me. It's starting with them being like, oh, you know how Babe releases his energy to race, and then he's like, oh, I can't stand your alpha smell, and I was like, okay.
Okay, about the alpha smell. So one of the things that I kind of got lost in the show was I didn't realize that it was an Omegaverse show at all. Like when I was watching it, and they kept talking about Babe and his senses and stuff, and then they kept having like the sound waves like coming off his body.
That's what made me stop.
And I was
the sound waves, or smell waves, or whatever it was.
What is this? And
that's what made me stop watching.
Maybe he's just really weird.
So that's what made me stop watching.
Obvious.
She was like, no, give it a chance. And then she was like, hey, there's some like weird, like people have superpowers.
Yes.
And I was like, okay.
I didn't really understand it until we got to Jeff. Because once we meet Jeff and we realize what his power is, that it took me a while, okay? Because I think I kind of got to the point where I was like, I don't understand this, so I just kind of like took it out of my
I just stopped
mind.
watching.
I was just like, I kept watching, but I just didn't pay attention because there were moments where like you could tell like people had something going on, but to me it didn't fit in the world because nobody ever admitted to having an ability. Until Jeff, and then Jeff's all like, you know, can read the future and doesn't like to be touched and stuff, which makes total sense.
But it was like people knew about it, but they didn't know about it.
Yeah,
it was a weird vibe.
So I didn't know it was Omegaverse until almost halfway through.
Now, once I did watch it all the way through, I absolutely fell in love with Babe and Charlie.
Love their relationship.
Yes, and even Jeff and Alan, I thought they were adorable because Jeff, like, he needed someone to protect him so bad.
You hate the take care trope.
I do.
Except when.
I do, but they didn't do it in like a cheesy, corny way.
That's true.
Like
Jeff and Alan.
Their vibe was awkward at times.
Their vibe was awkward.
I will give it that.
It felt super forced sometimes.
I will give it that. There were times that it did feel awkward. But I still liked the overall of it. But there were times that it was awkward. And I absolutely love North and Sonic.
Love them.
Not being a couple. Though.
Yeah, I've seen teasers.
I have not watched like the trailer for the new season yet, and I try not to look at too many teasers. I did see a picture, I think you sent it to me, where it looks like North and Sonic are about to kiss, and I don't want that.
I think it's gonna happen.
I know, but
there's a lot of couples in
I'm not a bromance person. Like normally I'm like, bro, get past it. Like either y'all are friends or y'all are in a relationship. Like why are we doing this bromance thing? But with them, I really loved it. They were, like, hilarious.
I liked them because they were, like, best besties.
Yes.
They just fed off of each other's energy, and they supported each other.
They were just smart Alex all the time.
But they were leaning towards relationship towards the end of the show, and I was kind of like, I could be okay with them just being besties. But I feel like that's where... But then when North left to go pursue his modeling career or whatever, I felt like that was the break they kind of needed, but clearly not.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like when you watch BLs, it's like everybody has a boyfriend or nobody has a boyfriend except for the main couple.
That's true.
So I was okay with a few of them having boyfriends or being together, and I was okay with North and Sonic not being together. But back on topic.
Okay. One of my things about this show that I liked was how they slowly fell in love. It wasn't insta love like you see sometimes. It started as like we're just bed buddies, and then it kind of evolved into like I actually care for this person, I actually love this person, and so forth. And I really liked that because it's not something you see a lot, especially in Thai dramas. They really do like I love you, and then it's like hitting it hard.
It's like, hi, I love you, we're together.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. No, I do like that it did work its way through. But Charlie irritated my soul. Because I'm like, guy, if you would have just told Babe from jump, hey, we're taking down Tony, he'd have been all over it.
Why did it need to be a secret?
Yes, and then you made it a secret, and like the way you did it, it made it seem like he was the bad guy, which I get plot story,
That's
twist.
what you were supposed to think he was a bad guy.
I understand, but it just turned me off to Charlie early on.
I also hated the sheer amount of miscommunications that happened in this show. Like, my guy, you can't pick up a phone and call him. You can't be like, hey, sorry, I'm eating with my brother for lunch. And then why does Jeff being his brother have to be such a secret? He's like, well, I didn't want you guys to think that I got this job because I know Charlie. You wouldn't have. They didn't like him at that point anyway. So it didn't matter. Yeah. And then like once he had the job, why didn't you go to Babe and be like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, hey,
he's
Jeff's
my brother.
Yeah. Like,
But
could have been easily solved.
technically, if Jeff is his brother in that sense, so was Way and Babe.
Well, yeah.
Which it gives a weird vibe to me.
Way is a weird vibe altogether.
Okay, so talking about Way, he was so delusional.
He was, yes.
His scene where he nearly non-consensually, had his way with Babe, I felt was unnecessary.
Completely.
I felt like you could have gave that same vibe of, hey, I control your actions. You could have kidnapped Charlie and him go to save him, and then
put a stop.
Yeah, Way touch him, and you're like, you're not moving.
You have to watch me hit your guy or something. Like
you could have did so many things.
But why that? Because Dad was shooting for a baby. That's why. Because remember, Tony,
which is weird in its own right.
I wrote that down too in my notes.
The reason. So enigmas, even though they are males, can get alphas pregnant, or alphas get them pregnant.
I think they can get alphas pregnant.
That's what I thought too. Yeah. Okay, so enigmas can get the alphas pregnant. So even
if they're male, even though they don't have all the parts.
The whole gist of the show,
right,
is Tony wanted to make like the super baby, and so he needed P-Way and Babe to
make a baby.
So
I feel like we're having conversations with middle schoolers. That's how we
it was easier to digest watching than it is talking about it.
But it made Omegaverse or whatever. It was weird that like two men would make a baby. Not that they shouldn't have babies, but that.
But I feel like I've read that in like a alpha story before.
And that may be a thing. Like I said, I'm not an Omegaverse person. Like
I am.
I mean, I'm not against it. I am a sci-fi reader way back, but I guess the universe, I felt like I didn't understand the rules. And
that's because I feel like the rules changed.
I think maybe they did.
Talking about the rules, Charlie touched so many people.
Right. How does he siphon? Because he only siphoned Babe, but then at what point? Because it wasn't until almost the midpoint of the show that Babe loses his ability. So, but you guys had been like banging it up in the bedroom since episode 1. So what point is it that you can siphon? Is it a conscious decision? Is it an unconscious decision? Did you take his power on purpose? And then while you're like running around with all these other Omegaverse people, like you cannot just like grabbing powers. Like I don't understand.
Because at that point, why didn't you touch P-Way and take his power?
Right? Like it made no sense in that.
The Omegaverse aspect did not translate very well to me. I feel like it started out translating well until it got to the Charlie part. And then I was like, you've touched so many people. How have you not taken their power? And if it's a cautious decision, why haven't you taken P-Way's power? Or why haven't you taken your brother's power, Jeff's power? Because you know that it torments him.
Right.
So why wouldn't you take that from him?
Right. I mean, and then he's like, maybe it has to be conscious, right? Because he said that the only way to give the power back is if he dies. So I guess maybe that's why he didn't take anybody else's powers, because he didn't want to keep it till he died. But then why Babe? Why take his power?
No, he said he took his power so Tony wouldn't want him anymore.
I guess, but...
Missed it.
I guess I did. I forgot that part.
Yeah, that was pretty much the gist of it, is if that was the whole kind of scheme, was like if he took Babe's power, Tony wouldn't want him anymore, and then he could let Tony live. But why were you so in love with Babe and like so just enamored with him before y'all were even together?
Before you even like
got, that y'all plotted out this whole...
I wanted to know, like, how did he come to the decision of like going to join this racing team? Clearly
because there were tons of other kids that were stolen,
right?
And so we're just human trafficking people, because there were so many red flags in this show. So like I like the show. I know it sounds like I don't. I like the show. I really liked it the first time I watched it. Me too. Once I got past the first episode, 5 times.
I think it took me a couple times to get past the first episode too.
But it just like we were casually just throwing around human trafficking, non-consensual. What else happened? I mean, we were kidnapping people, but that always happens in a BL.
I mean,
well, not the human trafficking, but the hostage situation. Because they grabbed Jeff.
Yeah, they also. Well, I think because Jeff was kidnapped for a little while.
Yeah.
But then, like, okay, how is Dad's security? Because all of these people just be leaving his house. You got Babe who escaped, Wei who's kind of like a double agent, but you got Charlie who escaped, Jeff who escaped. Dude, maybe tighten your security a little bit if you're going to be doing some shady stuff.
No lie. And then, like, I mean, okay, at the end, the shootout.
The shootout. It was so disappointing. Like, it just, I don't know.
We got real quiet on that one.
Okay, and then during the shootout, right, Charlie magically comes back. And I understand that it was during a shootout, but it felt anticlimactic the way that they did it. Like, this dude's been dead for all this time.
And he's dead with Babe's dad, right?
With Babe's natural biological dad, who's apparently not a loser anymore because that's what happened the first time.
You thought he was a loser?
No, because that's how... Wait, hold on. Am I getting Charlie's story mixed up? That Tony took Babe from his dad because he didn't have any money, or was that Charlie's story?
I thought they thought Babe's dad had died.
Well,
so Charlie being with Babe's dad, and Babe's dad has like this cure for the alphas,
right? But it's experimental.
But why have you not went and got your son?
That's what I'm saying. And then, like, why does Charlie have to basically die, too? I get that they needed to give Babe back his powers. I get that part. But I feel like they could have just done that with the serum anyway.
Yeah.
Because if the serum takes the alpha power away, then that's all they needed was to take the power away and make him a normal human person. But then, I don't know, like, how long does the serum the serum.
I am glad they're doing a season 2.
I am, although I've heard rumors that there's not an Omegaverse.
I have heard that rumor.
Which I guess makes sense why Dad's back alive, because, spoiler, he's not at the end of the show.
Are you talking about Tony?
Yeah.
You're saying Dad, and they did call him Dad, but I thought we were still on Babe's dad, and I was like, hey, when was he dead? So, yes, but I think in the small teaser that I saw, he wasn't back. He was like a voice ghost person.
Oh, that's gonna be worse.
I don't know. I don't know. We will see it. We will see it whenever.
So, one of my favorite side characters is Kenta. I just wanted to give that guy a hug, okay? Because that dude took the brunt of all of Tony's frustrations. Anytime something didn't go right, that dude got his butt beat. And he just wanted to be accepted. Because I think he does not have a power. And that's why he was like the lackey for Dad.
He didn't leave
an impression.
No.
I liked him.
Now, like, I will say, like, all the characters played their parts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the actors playing the characters, I have no problem with the actors playing their parts.
No,
they all did amazing.
The acting was phenomenal.
Yes. The storyline is just a little jumbled for me.
Yeah.
And took away from me, like, being invested in it sometimes.
I still just didn't like Jeff and Alan. I don't know why I'm going back to that, but I didn't like them together.
Yeah.
Best scene ever was Babe crying over Charlie's dead body. Best scene. Like,
it was.
It
he
pulled
was a great...
emotions out of me that I was not prepared for, because this show was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of kooky, but not kooky. It was...
So, I'm not going to lie. And I think I told you.
Okay.
I do tend to skip watch or watch on like 2x speed if I'm starting to get like lost in the storyline, or if it's drawing out too long for me. Mm-hmm. And so I do think that scene I had like either fast forward or I had skipped like part of it.
No. That was when you lost your earbuds and you didn't get to hear it.
Oh!
That's what it was.
So being honest, I had lost my earbuds and I was watching it and I couldn't turn the volume up. And so I saw him crying. Now I remember. I saw him crying, but I didn't hear it. So I was just like...
You have to hear it though, because like the wails...
Yeah.
It was beautifully done.
Yeah, because she was so mad at me that I didn't react to it.
Like,
she was like, that had nothing on you? Like, it didn't affect you?
I was like, you're cold-hearted. Like, how can you just
And I was like, he was just on the floor, like, crying. Like, and she's like, no. And I was like...
Go back.
She's like, the way it sounded. And I was like, well, I don't have my earbuds. So, I didn't hear a thing.
Yeah, you have to
so, that dramatic was lost on me. Nothing against the show or the actors. That was a me thing, as it normally is. But I loved whenever Charlie and Babe were calling each other Mama and Papa.
It was so cute.
And the fact that they still do it outside of the show.
Yes. At first, I think I was kind of like, because it just kind of threw me off, because it's not something I saw a lot. Plus, Pit Bay was one of my first BLs, not the first, but it was one of the first. Not me. So, I know, because I got you into BL. I am the corrupter.
Throw it out there.
Anyway, it was one of my first Thai BLs, so I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but it really grew on me. And
Your
I really
first Thai BL was in a Megaverse.
No, mine started out with like Boss and No.
Mine started out with Boss and
No. I know,
No.
that's what I recommended to you. No, I think my first one was like some Korean one.
No, I'm saying your first Thai one.
Thai? Oh yeah, that was Lita. Anyway, but let me think. What else is there?
Sorry guys, I read her notes like while she's talking and they're hilarious. She's so critical in her notes.
I am. I try not to be, but when I'm really critiquing a show, I can be a little harsh on it.
Yeah.
I definitely knew that Charlie was not dead when he died. I was like, there's no way. They're not going to kill off a main character. Plus, we had like 3 episodes left. I was like, he's not dead.
Yeah.
The serum thing, I was bored during that part of the story arc.
The scenes?
Where he was like with the dad in the little like river house or whatever. I was like...
So would it have been better for you if Charlie's dead, they play out the rest of the show, gun scene comes...
Yes.
Charlie pops up and it's like, oh my God.
Yes.
And then they do just a quick flashback of how he's alive.
That.
Dang, I should produce, man. I should produce. I know how to keep you entertained.
Because I don't like the separation, because then you had Pit Babe over here doing his thing, and then you had Charlie over here doing his thing, and it just, and then the scientific stuff, it was just boring, and I just didn't feel like it lended a whole lot to the story.
Doesn't like science, y'all.
Not what I said. Literally earlier said I like reading science fiction, but that's fine. Judgments. But overall, I really did like the show. Oh yeah, and why is everybody who is in the Omegaverse, like, why are they all streetcar racers? Like, why?
Oh yeah.
Like, you have all these powers, and what you choose to do with it is go race cars around the track.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean, Charlie sucked at it at first.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, why is that, like, the go-to? Like, you can't, like, I don't know, end world hunger or go stop an evil dictator with your superpower or something. No, let's go race cars.
What?
I'm just wait, right? He can control other people. You could use that power.
Way was worried
something.
about himself.
I know.
Can we talk about the guy Way met in the bar? You don't remember, do you?
Maybe. No, you're gonna have to give me more. There was a lot of bar scenes in this show.
He was in the bar, and there was that one guy that kind of bantered back and forth with him. And I really thought they were going to move him forward with that guy.
Oh, yes, I did too.
The guy that was actually ended up helping them in the end. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought they were going to move forward with that guy, but then they go into the non-consensual stuff, and I was like, why are we here? You had someone who was willing.
I hated that scene because the scene with the non-consensual, because I'm like, here you are, you supposedly love this man so much. And
apparently he loved he loved Tony more. Because he was doing it for Tony. He was doing it for himself.
He was doing it for himself.
But he was doing it for Tony.
But, Wade did play the jealous trope really well. Like, when Babe took Charlie to their restaurant and he found out, he was so mad. I was like, I could feel that. Like, you're not allowed to go eat ramen without me. And you know that. Like, you can't.
You are. P-Way over here. Oh.
Wow.
No, I do think that was one of the things they did well, was showing how everybody was emotionally connected.
Yes.
They did a great job showing why P-Way was so emotionally invested in Babe, why Charlie was fighting as hard as he was, just how everybody felt towards each other, towards Tony. It, like you were even saying about Kenta, he wanted to be loved by Tony that much,
right.
you know?
He would do anything, right?
So I do think they did a good job at showing how emotionally everybody was willing to put themselves through so much for love from another person in that show.
And I just want to say that, and I said this in my ins and outs video, that I loved Babe being the princess, okay? Because it's unexpected. He's bulky and super masculine.
Yes.
And then he's all about over here, Charlie's over here cooking breakfast for him, wearing nothing but an apron, and he's living it up. And I'm like,
I was not expecting Babe to play the princess. Pavel.
Yeah.
To play it because of his physique.
Yeah.
But seeing Pavel in real life, it fits.
He is such a passenger princess in real life.
He's such a baby girl, it fits.
Yeah.
And then it's I don't know. And then I'm wondering, is that really him? What if he's not? What if he just does that for us?
I don't know, because it's hard to know between fan service and
because it just fits him so well.
It does.
He so easily goes into baby girl.
I feel like it is him, though.
It's got to be him.
And I'm super excited about season 2 because normally I don't like when shows have second seasons because I feel like a lot of times...
What? I obsess, everything in life. So I'm whenever I watched Pit Babe, it was my life once I got past the first episode. I'm going to reiterate that. It was my life for that 24 hours it probably took me to watch it because I watched so fast. It was my life, everything was Pit Babe, and then it was I was on Pit Babe TikTok, and then I was on Pit Babe Instagram, and then it was that was my life, and I could have had a second season right then.
Okay. I'm not saying.
That was a long pause.
I'm not. Oh my god. I'm not saying that it doesn't deserve a season 2. I'm excited about season 2. I said that. What I said was that I don't normally like season 2s because I like my story to be complete, done, tied in a bow, whatever.
No, I never want it to end.
There are some shows
the shows, even if I don't like it, I don't want it to end because I've now invested time in this character and I need to just keep watching it.
Okay. I don't. For me, watching a show is like a book, right? I want to start it, finish it, and move on to the next book, the next great story, the next great characters, or whatever.
But books have great series like Harry Potter. I wanted to go to the next book.
Okay, we are. Pit Babe is going to book 2, okay?
Out of all the books in the world, I chose Harry Potter.
I know. You could have picked Lillian's book. She's going to be mad at you now.
I can't pick her book. Her second one ain't out yet.
It's coming.
Lillian,
we need book 2.
Book 2.
So anyway, back to Pit Babe. I am nervous about season 2 because of all of the rumored changes of no Omegaverse, blah, blah, blah. I'm afraid that it's going to be too different. And that could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing. It could be good because they'll be like watching a fresh
What are they
show.
going to talk about?
But that's the thing is like, what is the point of the show without the Omegaverse? But the author said that the initial series shouldn't have had the Omegaverse in it anyway. It was supposed to not, but then the director or whatever changed it before they...
Is it based off of a book?
Yeah.
Does the book have the Omegaverse?
Some of it does.
Yeah?
Yeah, it does. Look, I'm going to start giving you book recs too.
I don't normally read the books before watching a Thai BL because they're translated.
And some of them are translated
And some
poorly.
of them are translated poorly.
And not to any fault of the author. Like, it just is what it is.
Yeah, like, it is great books. It's just when it's translated into an English version, you lose the authenticity of it.
Yes.
And, like, some of it just doesn't
translate
Yeah, it doesn't translate well.
It takes the right person to... Because I'm reading one right now. I'm reading the one that The Untamed is based off of. And that's really well translated. Like, chef's kiss translated.
Oh, yeah.
But when I read Lita... we're not going to talk about that book. But anyway...
So I have not read Pit Babe.
I haven't either, even though I do read, but I haven't read that one.
I mean, I read. I just haven't.
Dang,
y'all!
Meant to throw shade. I'm just saying I read. I'm saying Violet doesn't read. I just said that I do. There was no other meaning meant, ma'am. So, anyways. I'm super looking forward to May the 2nd. In fact, May is going to be a super busy month because we have Pit Babe Tube and the new Prince coming out in May.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about Pit Babe.
I know. I was making a statement.
All right. To bring it all back, great acting.
Excellent acting, for sure.
Yeah. Storyline overall was a decent storyline. Yeah. I do think the Omegaverse got choppy, especially with Charlie sometimes being able to take powers, not like that wasn't clearly defined for me. Tony was a horrible person, and I mean, he was just, I didn't like watching his scenes that much because he really irked me, like, as a character. And the whole human trafficking thing bugged me so much. The non-consensual bugged me, and let me see what else. I don't want North and Sonic to be a couple. I want them to stay besties, bros forever.
So overall, I gave Pit Babe an 8 out of 10 for my rating because I really did like the show. I liked the story, loved the actors. They were all phenomenal. No matter what part they played, they were amazing at it. They were.
I agree wholeheartedly. 8 out of 10. We shall see with season 2.
I'm excited.
And
too. We will make another podcast at the end.
We will. All right, so thanks for hanging out with us. Ride or Die. See you next time.